new town hall to go with that article, and this is the rendering of the facility. And as you can see, the building we have today essentially looks the same as planned. But what was there before? Well, there was the mall farm. This is a view of it around 1965, and there were other buildings associated with it. We don't see a barn anymore in this photo, actually, because it had been destroyed in a tornado, I think, right, Esther? I think a tornado came through. Yeah, Don Schroeder told me about that. He watched it from his window in the back of the house, further over there. Yeah, it came through. He says, yeah, chickens were flying all over the place. It's incredible. So, yeah, oddly enough, yeah, we've heard about the tornadoes recently in our state here and there, so that was one at that time. Now, the house itself dated back to around 1870, and there was one man still living there of the Mall family, tending it as best he could, but eventually it got to be unsafe. And they told him, well, in addition to it being unsafe and you can't really live here anymore, we need a new town hall, and your land is pretty good for it. I'd like to make a deal. They made a deal, the family made a deal, and he decided to retire from it. Now, in this photo, which we can see right from the corner of Church and Maple, we can see in the front porch, there's a curious church pew right here. And this had actually come from the Trinity Church, right, Cindy? Cindy, I think, yeah, when that closed in the late 1870s, 1873, I think different parts of it floated around, and one of the pews ended up on this front porch and stayed there for decades until it was finally relocated eventually to our collection. You can see this very same church pew in our museum at Das Haus. The house used to stand pretty much right as, this is Maple Road right here, or Maple Street, is it Maple Road? Maple Road, thank you. And there's church coming up from the east. If the house was still there today and you tried to get into town hall, you'd go right through the house. Essentially, it was right on the corner. And the new building is back in here in relation to this. And so here's the official groundbreaking. Here's the town council and other related officials in the background. And we have the groundbreaking shovel today in the front lobby of our facility there. There they are putting in the first shovel load, officially. And here's another photo on the same day as the guys are walking around checking out the grounds and surveying everything. There's Stanley Brzezinski, the supervisor, holding the groundbreaking shovel yet. It was actually one of a number of projects that was going on in our town. Not only were we getting a new town hall, but the Summit Mall was about to open later this year. The first phase of it, in 1973, on the Williams farm, former Arthur Williams farm on Williams Road. There would also be a new county water treatment facility. There's another big building that was opening up at this time. There were other different things going on. Another part of that boom, years article we're talking about. The town is growing. And here's an article of the town hall underway in 1972. And there's the third town hall as it just opened. The baby picture of our civic facility, basically. And you can see the original plantings as it was intended. The first flagpole, which actually was probably salvaged from another building. A lot of newer buildings at this time just used previous flagpoles from other older buildings. Why not? They were the same. Saved you some money. Okay. So that was our first flagpole, actually, and our first flag, which I also have in the archive. Our first flag. That's another comprehensive architectural view of it. And the original streetlights, notice there's no gazebo out front. There's none of that yet. This is all new. That's probably a Ford Fairlane right there. Whoop. So here is the official opening day. I think I didn't bring a copy of the program, but you'll see it in this. This is the Boy Scouts doing their part in the opening ceremonies. I think this is, we'll see the name, but I believe that's the visiting congressman here, presenting the first official flag from his office to Supervisor Stanley Brzezinski right there. The Scouts were the ones that put up the flag. Okay.
I think that's,
Go ahead.
what was his name? Henry P. Smith?
No.
Was it
Yeah,
LaFarge?
from North Carolina.
Was it
Oh, it might be. I think his name is on the program.
Henry P. Smith.
Yeah. Henry P. Smith, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see the program in a moment. Let's see if we're right. Yeah.
He was from
Because I wrote a letter to him when I was in like second grade.
Oh, really?
That was one of our assignments. He actually wrote back to me. I don't remember what I asked him, but
Okay.
it was cool.
Do you still have that letter back from it, just in case?
I
Okay.
wish.
Yeah, sure.
Too many moves.
But that's where, that's when you could really honestly write the congressman.
Yeah.
That really, instead you mail it to a staff person, they send some generic letter out back to you. But that was a day when they would often write back in person, themselves. Here's the raising of the flag. Again, note the flagpole. It's a pretty old looking pole. I don't know where this came from. It might even come from the second town hall, because I think it did have a pole. I'm not absolutely positive, but I think it did have its own pole at one point, or it might have come from another facility. And here's the band striking it up. And the speeches were made right in front of it. Edison Stieg was the conductor of the band here at the time, if you remember him. He had actually served in the Army in World War II, was a band leader back then. I knew him, and actually this is a little tribute to him right there. The Wheatfield dedication. Wheatfield Community Band Master Edison Stieg led the musical portion of ceremony Saturday, dedicating the new $350,000 town hall at 2800 Church Road. Town of Wheatfield. Speaking at the event was, Representative Henry P. Smith III, Republican who came heralded from North Tonawanda, who provided a flag which had flown over the U.S. Capitol for the town's use. So the flag traveled a bit before it got here. Assemblyman Richard Hogan, Republican 139th District at the time, that's what it was also present. And so you see him conducting, and that's him receiving a plaque from our town as a thank you for his many years of service. Now the programs were kind of interesting for this opening ceremony. It was literally the town seal, and it was reproduced on a circular piece that folded like that in the middle, and you open it up, it had everybody listed right there participating. Here are the Scouts, Girl Scouts over here, town board members, and other officials right there on the original path right there, the original concrete. Now this is the program scanned and blown up for you. You can see a number of different names here. We have Mr. Brzezinski as supervisor, Dia Toner as town clerk, Vernon F. Troyer as the town justice, Herman Beisch as town justice, James D. Hoyer as councilman, and Winston E. Moeller as councilman. And then you have other different names right here. We have Henry Kruger, the superintendent of the highways, Norman Walk of water, Erwin D. Jago, the building inspector, Glenn S. Ackett, the town attorney, and Kribel, Gray, Rugg, and Paul, the architects of town. The architects. I have to say it like that. It sounds more fun. And other different people who, of course, installed various aspects of it. Reverend Rolf Buchman from St. John's Lutheran Church. Buchman. Thank you. Buchman. The presentation of the flag by Congressman Henry P. Smith, the flag raising by the Wheatfield Boy Scouts, the national anthem by the Wheatfield Community Band, the pledge to the flag by the Wheatfield Girl Scouts, welcome and introduction of the town board, the band selection of America the Beautiful was played. The comments by the congressman, and the benediction by Reverend Stanley, there's another name, Itzhak? Trying to say that name. From the Palatine Fathers Catholic. And refreshments served by the senior citizens of the town of Wheatfield. Originally they were called the senior citizens of the town of Wheatfield. And that's a dedication plaque right there that you can still see today in the hall. And so this is the installation of our lettering, our seals, the quilted seal that used to be above the town board right there in the audience chamber. Eventually Supervisor Demler replaced that with a more proper seal above the council chambers there. And so this knitted rug version of the seal was moved into a side hallway off the back there where the handicap accessible ramp is that curls around. This original seal that was above the town council can still be seen over there. And here is the first planning board meeting or session of the town board and associates in the new town hall.
And it's winter village, your choir.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Is it the same person that used to play piano?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
See him right there?
Yeah, I see him.
He was so well liked by everyone.
Sure,
Mhm.
yeah, yes.
I don't think I ever saw him without a smile on his
Mhm.
face.
He was an excellent bowler, too.
Yeah. And left-handed.
And left-handed, that's right.
Yeah,
He
I
taught me
didn't know
that
that.
stuff when we played,
Wow.
we bowled. Now he told me how to throw the rock. Oh, cool. Oh, yeah.
Never knew that.
Yeah.
When he played
all
piano
through
for us
the-
all the time.
Wow.
We would sing.
We went all to St. John's School together, all 8 years.
Wow,
Can
yeah.
I have a picture?
Yeah, their home was down the way, wasn't it?
Pardon?
Their home was like the two-story building down the way for a while.
They originally lived on Ward Road,
Mm-hmm. Right.
almost to Ruby, and then they moved to the boulevard.
Mm-hmm. Public hearing slated on the Wheatfield budget. Whoop-de-doo. But anyways, this is 1975. It's, the budget doesn't matter, of course, in this. What matters is this great photo of some of the first business being done here. And the budget at the time, though, in case you're curious, was $632,327.
Probably
I think
wasn't there a
that's-
month now.
Yeah, it seems, well, you know. So this is Dia Toner, later Furchin, I think, yeah, she wasn't married yet. So this is Diet at the time, and this is Mr. Brzezinski. Now this is the recreation department's, the new recreation department. There hadn't been one yet until about now. This was their brochure from 1974. And as of that year, the new town hall opened, so now they could officially include it in their programs. As I said before, a lot of the programs for senior citizens and children and so forth were held in that basement. So that's why town hall is featured on this book, not a community center or something else as we have it now. So that's why it ends up right there. It's brand new, so it gets pride of place right here. Now here's a sampling of our various Wheatfield senior citizens outside the new town hall. This was taken around 1975 or 76, thereabouts. Not long after the town hall itself opened. I think a couple of these people I know of, people have seen these and have remarked who they are. If you recognize any of these guys, let me know.
They're deceased.
You recognize it?
That we recognize.
I know the gentleman on the top picture,
Mhm.
the right-hand picture, he was a Martin, M-A-E-R.
Oh, on the, right over here? Yeah.
Yeah.
I love showing, I honestly love showing photos of this period of our Wheatfield Senior Citizens Program, because sometimes people say, oh, that's Grandpa so-and-so, that's Grandma so-and-so, you know what I mean? And it brings, they get that extra picture of the people that they remember. So this is 1998, 25 years later. And here we have the current and past Wheatfield town boards as it remained from that time. Obviously Jim Hoyer and Winston Moeller are there, Diet Furchin, and Stan Brzezinski were in attendance from the original town board from that time, 1973, backed up with the then current town board and town justices. Niagara County legislator at the time, Arthur Croning, is standing there, and then State Senator George Maziarz. We had the recently departed Reverend Robert Heisner, the founder of the Project Future
Is that
program.
Winston in the front and the base?
Yeah, right here, yes. That's him right there. Yeah, it's okay. And if any of you want to come up closer, let me know to see this better. And obviously Supervisor Timothy Demler, who put together this.
And behind him is Pastor Orbeck.
Right in here?
Behind him.
Behind him? Okay, thank
Behind
you.
him. The guy
Yeah.
with the kind of short hair there, this white hair.
Right, right.
That's Pastor Oral back from St. John's.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, I never knew who that, he only appears in one photo, so I had, and he's obviously blocked, so I didn't know, thank you. And they planted a tree, well, they had a tree right there, they originally planted this and the planter behind it, but I guess it must have died and they removed it somehow. There's nothing there now, so I assume it didn't work out. Anyways, here's a Wheatfield community band, still led by Edison Steig at the time. I don't quite see him in this photo, but the band is still around at the time. It's not around anymore though. Supervisor Stanley Brzezinski came up to the podium. We have film of this, by the way, of the whole ceremony. So that's on my YouTube page if you ever want to look that up as well. So we can see his full speech and so forth. Obviously the constables looked a little different back then. This is when they were wearing their white shirts. And he made a great speech. It's the only time we see him on footage and on camera talking about his service to the town back then and what it took to put this wonderful building together. And here we have a ribbon cutting between Supervisor Demler and former Supervisor Brzezinski reopening and rededicating the People's Hall. Yeah? That's Winston there and Jim Hoyer right there, yes. Absolutely. And here you are cutting the cake. Not the cheese, but the cake. And cutting the cheese is official town business on the second. Anyways, we have the cake and it says Happy 25th Anniversary, 1973 to 1998. Mr. Brzezinski right here, Robert B. Cliff, and Diet Furchin, Arthur Palmer. I can't remember her name right now, but she was our town justice at the time, and Tim Demler. One of our two town justices. Bob Cliff was the other one. And these are the supervisors of the town who have occupied the building since its opening. Obviously, Mr. Brzezinski occupied it first, but then we had Mr. Ed Greiner Jr. We had Terry W. Kuhn, who came in after him. And then we had Supervisor Timothy Demler right there. This is a picture taken just in his last term for the Buffalo News. A nice photo also of Supervisor Bob Cliff, and the first press photo of Supervisor Don McSwan. He's our current supervisor today. And this is just before we changed our town flags a little bit to make it more like the seal, so that this was taken before we made that change. This is a nice holiday card greeting, card of Town Hall in 1998 also. The first tree lighting was done at this time too. He helped introduce that. And so this was the first official big Christmas party that we had there. And this is the town hall later on. But of course, the downstairs facilities were becoming cramped for community activities. I was just telling your host here for the building that I've got a film of the town hall, one of the town hall Christmas parties. I think it must have been filmed in 1998 or 99. And there were so many people that came, though. They were really cramming themselves up and down the stairs and trying to meet Santa down there and the food and everything. And the town audience chamber, where the town board usually meets, there was a whole puppet performance going on there with people in costumes running around. And the upper floor where town business is usually done, like, the supervisor's office where you pay your taxes, your water bill, right? Up and down the whole hall, there was face painting going on and other activities. Not really appropriate for that building anymore, okay? They needed a new facility. And actually, on the lower floor, there was I can remember actually, there being shuffleboards. Actually, it was a shuffleboard layout. In the format of your downstairs basement dens, a lot of houses had little entertainment areas anyways, like shuffleboard and bars and so forth like that. And that's a more recent picture of the facility. This is a latter-day shelter put around the side door to the court. And of course, there's been a whole addition built off the back of it now, a new elevator system and all that's been done. So this is a planning session for the new community center, about 1999. And that's the official announcement for it. And so we have the community center today to take the pressure off the old town hall. Off the back of Town Hall today, we have the new Veterans Monument that is in place, showcasing the tank, the helicopter, and the original memorial cenotaph. All of these things actually used to be in front of the highway garage until they were moved back here to this beautiful new facility. A special thanks to Tom Contact and the Veterans Memorial Group of great gentlemen and ladies for putting this together. In this area, though, coming up in September, is a new Gold Star Mothers Memorial and Monument. Now, this is very, very special also because it is the only monument to the west of Syracuse in the state to exist on behalf of the Gold Star Mothers, who sacrificed so much for their families as well. So that is unique to this area in general, and it will be unveiled on September 28th coming up. So now here's the inside audience chamber, and of course you're familiar with that. And that's the way it basically looks like today yet. And this is from 1994, and from back then they were already planning on adding to the back of the building and expanding it because there was no elevator. We had just passed the Americans with Disabilities Act under George H.W. Bush, which mandated that public buildings and other spaces had to have ramps, elevators, and things like that for the challenged and to be able to get in. So that was the impetus for this renovation off the back of Town Hall. So everybody goes to the back of Town Hall today to enter anyways. And of course, more recently, we have Seeing Double. We have, in the last inaugural, this is brand new to us this year, we had supervisors Don McSwan and John McSwan. John McSwan is supervisor of the town of Cambria, and they were both sworn in at the same time at Town Hall, and I took these photos of that occasion.
They are twins.
And they are twins, exactly. They're twin brothers, and both of them veterans, and they were also, and they were sworn in by Bill Ross, former chairman of the legislature, William Ross. So that was a really interesting occasion. It probably never happened again. And that's what the inside the town hall looks like today. Still doing its job faithfully after all these years with newer lighting and equipment and all that now, of course, but still the same basic thing. And probably, like our community center, it's been highly praised over the years as being a model for what a town hall should look like and be. That's another view of the board that's just over there. And that is it, ladies and gentlemen. There are meetings. And my older hat. So thank you again for having a look at our town halls of Wheatfield.
It was nice. Nice
Thank you.
Thanks for doing this.
By all means, any questions or comments or concerns? Well, whatever you want to say.
Well, she was from Duck's House.
Yep.
Well, so is he. I know, but the people know who here. They don't know who you are.
Justin and I are on the board for Das Haus German Heritage Museum in Burkholz. And initially, our founder had focused on the people of Burkholz. And then we started getting inquiries about Martinsville. And since my dad was Martinsville, I became the token Martinsville person.
Yeah, the full name of our society there too is the Historical Society of North German Settlements of Western New York. So that can mean several communities, but our focus is essentially on what's within the town of Wheatfield, a little more than that. And we have a very special visitation by a group out of the Uckermark region of Germany with a bunch of students, like up to 60 people, and the translators and teachers that will be coming to our museum. And we're really building up for that, so it's going to be very exciting. Yeah.
Do you just specialize in Wheatfield, or do you go to Porter?
Yeah, I specialize in the town of Wheatfield for the most part, but I also don't mind taking in any comments or other different inquiries about the area around me, and I can always forward that to their historians next door.
Well, the Church Road in the town of Porter, the cemetery, are you familiar with that?
Mm-hmm.
The church that was there, that they just tore down,
Oh, you mean in Cambria?
is it Cambria?
Is in
Yeah.
Cambria, yes. Yeah, that just happened, yeah.
Yeah, that, my great-great-grandfather used it originally owned that land.
Mhm.
His grave is there
Oh,
behind what was
yeah.
the church. And he's listed as a pastor, as a minister, but I couldn't find an official connection for him.
Well, we just had our grand opening, grand reopening, our open house for the Town of Cambria Historical Society. That's located in one of the historic buildings over there, and the schoolhouse there is a 2-story thing. And so they would have more information on that building before it came down. My understanding is that the town could keep up with its maintenance, but
Well, I've heard that there were, people getting in there,
Mhm.
breaking in,
Yeah,
and they're just gonna put up a new building, but it just broke my heart because
yeah.
it was so picturesque, because it was a beautiful chapel.
Yeah, it was definitely a loss. It was a loss to the community up in there, but it's their business, It was a loss for sure. But yeah, but thank you for that though. Yeah.
You don't need to become a historian.
Well, back in 2000 and, I was appointed in 2016, and thanks to Mr. Cliff, the aforementioned Bob Cliff, supervisor at the time, he appointed me to fill the late Walter Bassett's position. And what made me want to become a historian was just a love of history, and then I just gravitated more to local history and wanted to preserve and protect that, because that's the history I live with. That's
All your
history,
family's
yeah.
from here? All your family's from around here then?
Amherst and Buffalo area. My ancestors on both sides of the family moved into that area first. Good German stock for the most part, And then we eventually flowed up into town of Wheatfield.
I have a question about the River Road School.
The what?
Is it River Road School?
Yeah.
Is it still owned by the Frontier Firehouse?
Yes, they formed the Gratwick facility. It's called the Gratwick facility.
Okay, because I
Yeah.
know that at one time it
Yeah.
was, named after my cousin, the Ronald T. Kramer Training Center.
Yes,
I don't know if it's still.
it is.
It
Yes.
is, okay.
It still functions that way. And actually, before we had the youth center, and even way before the seniors community center, I think in the late, from about the mid to late 70s, early 80s, I think into the 1980s, that was our first town youth center.
Yeah.
Actually, they had the shooting classes and archery and other different activities back then. I got the old brochures from the recreation department showing pictures from in there.
Read different places that it was closed and they were tearing down and I'm like, really?
Yeah, I did hear that someone was going to before the fire hall
Yeah.
located. It was also because of Love Canal. They moved from their old facility anyways
Right.
into a
And
newer
my
one.
uncle used to live right there on 102nd Street.
Huh,
And,
right,
yeah,
right.
and Ronnie, actually died fighting the fire. He was part of the fire.
Oh,
That,
I'm sorry,
I
sorry.
don't remember the name of it. It's in behind where the Southern Park Mall is. It's a senior
Yep.
building. There was a fire there in
Oh, okay.
2001, I think.
Huh.
Yeah,
Huh.
2001, yeah, 'cause he died in August 2001.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
really. Huh.
But he died with everybody loved.
Sure, sure.
You know, he grew up with that, him and his brother, his father,
Right.
his father's uncle,
I
his
understand.
mother was the ladies I said, they were all involved with it.
And that's why it's named for him, the training facility, I would
Right.
imagine, yeah. I see, okay,
Yeah.
that really makes
But I
perfect
heard all,
sense.
I read all this stuff, so I'm like, are they tearing it down? He said, no, they're not, it's this, it's that, I'm like, I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah, true, I'll look into it a
Who
little
knows?
more. Anyone else?
You do a very nice job.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
It's great being back here again, I like
Thank you
it.
for all the information on that culvert work at Ward Road.
Yes, I
Oh,
was
that's
just talking about in there. There were still old stones from the bridge that preceded the old culvert that was just pulled out.
Yeah,
And where they probably held road ties and iron bars or whatever that they put up there as a bridge to start. And of course, that was, people used to build their own bridges back then, in different areas, but that wasn't standardized, it was a hazardous idea. So we started to have public works by the mid-century where you had more standardized culverts.
yeah, I like that harbor.
Yeah, yeah.
I was fascinated looking at all the pictures that were right up on the, like,
Yeah, thank you.
okay,
Yeah,
Good night.
thank you again. Yeah.